doing what they do best. Possession football.
Panthers lead at 7-0, but the Stallions are driving.
Remember last year against New Jersey, they kept the ball 43 minutes, 28 seconds. Herschel Walker got only 27 yards. Instead of letting the big dog eat, they made the big dog starve.
Birmingham does that. It has its biggest days against the best running backs. Herschel had 48. Dupree only 28. Rozier 30 yards. What will Lacey get today? This is 1st and 10. This is Cribbs. Left side. Spins to the 6.
As we watch this play develop, Tim, you get a sense of what Birmingham does so well. Buddy Idolette, number 78, kicking out. Joe Cribbs on the long trap play, cutting back, coming underneath. They run that so effectively to both sides. John Arnaud, the safety man, number 25, having to come up from the secondary to make the tackle.
Cribbs now has 40 yards and 6 carries. They don't throw very much inside the 10. They use 2 tight ends. This is his big running back, Leon Perry, down to the 5. Robin Earl was the man you saw in motion, and I was about to tell you that inside the 10, what they do is bring in the extra tight end. They'll use him in motion and try to cut him inside the tackle right in front of the ball carrier as a lead blocker.
Should be on the 3, coach. We got to go to the 1.
Waiting to see what the flag is at the right hand of your screen. You can't see it there, but the officials do have a flag down, and it's going to be against Michigan. It'll take it down to the 3.
Offside. Defense. Still 2nd down.
The Stallions, Tim, have already used up more than 5 minutes on this drive, and you remember it started just outside the 50-yard line. This is something they do very effectively.
Jim Smith still out of the ball game. Robin Earl comes in. 3 tight ends, 1 on the wing, 2 running backs. The give on the left side is Cribbs. Touchdown Birmingham. Joe Cribbs.
That is touchdown number 6 on the year for Joe Cribbs, the All-American out of the University of Auburn. Watch the work of the offensive line here. The right guard is coming across, closing down. Cribbs slices through a hole right over the center. The man in the middle, of course, is Big Tom Banks.
Cribbs got through a hole that wasn't there.
Well, he created a hole for himself by sliding slightly to the outside and then hurling himself into the end zone and flying right by linebacker Ray Bentley, number 50.
Danny Miller's kick is up and it's good, and we've got a tie ball game. So Joe Cribbs, 4 years in the NFL, Rookie of the Year, 3 times All-Pro, has tied this score at 7.
Think I'm tough? This is tough. TR3 ain't no wax. Man, this stuff is something else. TR3 goes on easy, stays on hard. Makes your car beautiful. Like me. TR3 fights off the enemies like dirt, sun, and grime. You want tough? This is tough. TR3. Take it from me, Mr. T.
10 finds a hole, right side, across the 30. This is Danny Miller, tries to make the tackle and can't. Broughton calls back across midfield to the 49-yard line. Walter Broughton with an outstanding return of the kickoff by Danny Miller. David Evans came up to make the tackle, but Walter Broughton has brought Michigan right back.
Walter Broughton, a talented rookie out of Jacksonville State. Now watch him as he finds the seam on the right side. Remember that kickoff returns are planned plays. And Danny Miller, number 1, finally takes a shot at him right there. Ultimately, he's brought down by number 26, David Evans.
A 51-yard return by Walter Broughton. We've got a tie ball game. Thinking what he has to do his next offensive series. But right now, the onus is on the Birmingham defense because Walter Broughton has just had the longest return of the year for Michigan. John Williams had the previous longest at 43 yards, but Broughton has just returned at 51, and Michigan has the ball now in Birmingham territory. This is John Williams, not much there. Let's go down to Herb Wenches right now with Walter Broughton.
Joe Cribbs, 3-yard touchdown run. Joe, describe the play. Well, it was a base goal line dive play. We have the center and the guard double teaming their defensive tackle, and I'm just cutting in behind the nose, and we got a good block, and I just squirted in there.
It was a typical offensive drive for the Stallions, consuming more than 5 minutes off the clock.
Well, I think offensively, I think we can do some things against them and have some success. Right now, the defense has got to suck it up and play a little bit better defense right now.
Congratulations on your touchdown run.
Thanks, Herb.
Tim?
Herb's getting quick in his old age. Ran across to the other side after talking to Broughton and got Joe Cribbs. 2nd and 11 now for Michigan. This is Lacey, still not much there. Jackie Klein makes the tackle, and every time that Lacey carries the football, the fans at the Silverdome boo him.
You know, this is an interesting reversal. Now, for the Detroit Lions, you remember that when Billy Sims signed a USFL contract with the Houston Gamblers, he was booed unmercifully here. Now we have Ken Lacey signing a contract with an NFL team. He is being booed unmercifully by USFL fans. However, they will change very quickly.
There were some interesting articles in the paper this past week talking about what would happen if the Panthers played the Lions. And quite a few of the fans really believe that the Panthers right now could beat the Detroit Lions. 3rd and 11. Hebert going long. Overthrows his intended receiver, Frankie McLean. Bobby Hebert. You look at that statistic, which is impressive.
I think Bobby Hebert is going to be mad at himself when he looks at the film, Tim, because Frank McLean out of North Texas State was running a fly pattern along the right sideline, and you know what? He had a step on the defender there. Had Hebert thrown that ball with more of a high, soft, looping trajectory over the outside shoulder, there was a possible touchdown there.
David Greenwood on to punt it away. This is number 31. Ron Frederick is the lone return man, and again it goes out of bounds, and David Greenwood's not happy. That's twice the ball's gone off the side of his foot.
David Greenwood, despite 2 bad kicks today, is perhaps the finest athlete on the Michigan team. You look at his all-purpose numbers. He has 27 tackles and safety blitzes. He has sacked the quarterback twice, 11 assists, 3 interceptions. He has blocked a kick, and of course he has been the punter. Today he has not been sharp as a punter, but we talked to George Dixon before the game today, and George told us that if he had to start with any one athlete off of the Michigan team, he would take David Greenwood.
He's a tough, hard-nosed player. We saw him against Arizona make the game-saving play, knocking the pass away in the end zone at the end of that game. This is Cribbs, left side, cuts back inside the linebackers to the secondary to the 32-yard line, and that's where Kyle Borland catches up with him. Coming up next Sunday, as the exciting USFL action continues, we have 2 fine games for you. New Jersey against Pittsburgh and Denver against New Orleans. Now, we saw Pittsburgh and New Orleans last week, did Lee Gross-Cup and myself. 2 outstanding football teams. New Orleans 6-1. Pittsburgh, an expansion team that did not exist last year at this time, is playing very, very well. 2nd and 2. Leon Perry. Here he comes around the right side for the first down. And he punishes number 22, Clarence Chapman.
Leon Perry, the big guy out of Mississippi, is a fullback that I'm starting to like more and more, Tim. He has the size you like. He's a great lead blocker. Now watch this. He shows a new dimension here. He shows you that he can also break it to the outside. And he's going to go one-on-one with Clarence Chapman, the cornerback, who has to come up. That is not an enviable assignment when you're a cornerback the size of Clarence Chapman.
Chapman is 180 pounds, and Leon Perry is 248 pounds. And Perry also in high school was the Mississippi State 100-yard dash champion. But this is Joe Cribbs, another sprinter, and he's got another first down for Birmingham.
He's brought down by Ray Bentley, the leading tackler on the Michigan team. He's another great MAC conference player. In fact, he was MAC Defensive Player of the Year out of Central Michigan. But this is vintage Raleigh ball right now. They're doing all of the things they like to do with their possession running game.
Joe Cribbs sat out most of the preseason, all the contact work, while he battled the NFL in the courts fighting for the right to play in this league. He's now nearing 800 yards in just 8 games. Stout. This is Darrell Mason into Michigan territory, down to the 42-yard line.
Cliff Stout read the safety blitz. David Greenwood was coming on the safety blitz, and he dumped the ball off in a hurry to Darrell Mason. Watch number 31 coming in here. You can't see it now. Here comes Greenwood, and he reads the blitz. Darrell Mason, number 81 out of Arkansas, catches the ball along the sidelines. John Arnaud has to come over to make the tackle along with Clarence Chapman.
Again, Clarence Chapman took a pretty good lick, and he's a little bit injured, shaken up, had his bell rung. Darrell Mason's not small. He's 6'1", 221 pounds. Raleigh Dodge calls him the most underrated tight end in the United States Football League.
I think that's an accurate assessment because he was very outstanding last year, particularly on crossing routes.
He was the second leading receiver for this club last year with 41 catches. This is first down at the 36. Perry gets a good block, cuts back against the grain. First down, Birmingham. Leon Perry.
We're getting a slot with a 35 onside, and I would think that's another fullback play, or no, it's a Joe Cribbs play, I believe. But they are really alternating now between Perry and Cribbs, and this again is the classic type Raleigh ball, classic possession football.
Leon Perry now has 50 yards in 8 carries. The last carry for 11 yards. Birmingham 7, Michigan 7. One of the keys thus far has been the Stallions' composure. Michigan came right out, scored the first time it had the football, and went all the way down to the 20 the second time it had the football. But Birmingham stuck with its game plan, and now it's paying off.
Part of that game plan was to run right at John Corker. We will illustrate that for you shortly.
Kohler goes to the top of the screen. Jim Smith to the bottom. Man defense by Michigan. They show blitz, and they bring the linebacker to the backside. Joe Cribbs really nailed at the 24-yard line by Ray Bentley, number 50. What do you mean running right at Corker? Is that their game plan?
Going right at John Corker because they feel that he is better in pursuit than when you attack him like this. Mark Battaglia, the pulling guard, number 59, going right at Corker. You see Leon Perry, number 30, cutting inside that block, and that's the way to neutralize a great player like John Corker. Go right at him.
Good strategy because Corker is one of the best at tracking you down from behind. On 2nd and 9, Stout throwing to Joey Jones. Both feet in. Yes, reception. The crowd doesn't like it, but it's a good call.
Joey Jones, who had a great career at Alabama running the classic sideline route. He's down about 11 yards, squares it out. Now watch, remember this is a 2-foot league.
Timeout.
Very clearly he has
Birmingham.
both feet inbounds.
Number 1.
Good call by the official that time. He was not swayed by the crowd, and Birmingham continues to sustain the drive. They move down inside the 20 to the 18, and that's where they'll have the ball when we come back. The preceding message brought to you by the United States Football League. 1 minute, 19 seconds remaining in the first half. That's the quarterback, Cliff Stout. 3rd and 3 is the situation. This is Joe Cribbs, left side, first down. Moore cuts inside Greenwood to the 4-yard line. Goes big Joe Cribbs.
Excellent call in that short yardage situation right there. It's a fake inside.
Right, here's what I want. 4 tight
Listen.
full toss, 18.
Yeah, hurry up.
Did you get it? Did you? Going to the short side here. Look, the lead block there by Leon Perry, number 30. Buddy Idlett, number 78, pulling. It propels Cribbs to the outside. Now he cuts back, and he gets the valuable yardage before being 2-timed in the secondary.
A 13-yard gain. Cribbs nearing 800 yards, but he won't get any more on that play. As a matter of fact, he'll lose some yardage.
John Arnaud, number 25, a 7-foot, 2.5-inch high jumper out of Iowa State. And Tim, we've talked about this before when we've covered Michigan, but for the first time in professional history, in David Greenwood and John Arnaud, you have safeties side by side who both high jump better than 7 feet 2 inches.
I had mentioned that Joe Cribbs was going after the 800-yard mark. He had 801 yards for the year in 8 games prior to that carry, but he lost some. There's your time. It's a tie score, but Birmingham has a marvelous drive going here against a very active, aggressive Panther defense. We said that Birmingham likes to run inside the 10, but I wouldn't be surprised to see a pass, and here it comes. Looking for Jim Smith, can't find him. Goes across the middle, touchdown. Goes Joe Cribbs, number 20. Well, he looked to the left side looking for Jim Smith. Smith was covered. He went across on the quick slant into his back. Joe Cribbs, touchdown Birmingham.
Touchdown number 2 on the day for Joe Cribbs. Watch him coming out of the backfield on the left side. Stout looks around. Cribbs circles inside. Coverage right there on the goal line. And Cribbs steps right in front of the linebacker, it appears. I would say it's Ray Bentley, unofficially number 50, for the second touchdown of the day.
Good read by Cliff Stout. Good kick by Danny Miller. The extra point is good. And Birmingham now has a 14-7 lead, thanks to that man, Joe Cribbs.
A different look at the last touchdown. Joe Cribbs on the right side of your screen, circling out of the backfield. He's going to be coming underneath the coverage. Stout takes his time. This is the secondary target. It is Bentley, number 50, and 25, John Arnott, on the coverage. But Cribbs circles right underneath both of them, and Stout hits him right on the numbers. It's a perfect pass for the touchdown. That's touchdown number 2 on the day for Cribbs. Unofficially now, Tim, Birmingham has kept the ball better than 10 minutes here in the second quarter. Michigan has 0 first downs in the second quarter.
And of course,
Amazing.
Michigan worked extremely well in the first quarter, so you make a tremendous point. Now let me ask you this. As you look at Danny Miller ready to kick off, what do you do if you're Danny Miller and Raleigh Dotch and Birmingham? Do you kick it away again and look for another big return, or do you try to squib kick it and try to get it down where you can cover it with an up back?
I would squib it, but every time I say that, they always kick it away.
Well, there it is again. Danny Miller, long kick, takes Bobby Futrell 5 yards deep in the end zone. And right now, Herb Wenches is with Tommy Banks.
Offensive center Tommy Banks for the Stallions. Tommy, you guys up front, you are starting to take control of the offensive line, winning at the point of attack.
Well, we're coming off the ball good, Herb. It's the best thing you can do in a physical kind of game like this. Both teams play a lot of the same kind of football, and this is what we love to play. Just get down there and get with it in the trenches.
Your running backs are doing a great job.
Yeah, Joe and Leon both are bringing it, and they're following our blocks, and heck, that makes everybody's job better.
All right, Tom, thank you very much.
Sure, glad to be.
Tim?
Tom Banks, an inspirational, tireless player who, after 11 brilliant seasons with the St. Louis Cardinals, became the first ever player to sign a contract with the Birmingham Stallions. What can this man, number 11, Bobby Hebert, do now? With 39 seconds remaining in the half. His first pass is complete. Walter Broughton, first down Michigan. That'll stop the clock while they move the chains.
Restating what I just said, look at the numbers on the last Birmingham
Timeout.
drive. 10 plays,
Michigan,
424.
number 2.
Raleigh ball control. Well, I tell you, that's the best defense is a good offense. Hold the football. Don't let the opponent have it.
Michigan right now is probably going to do what they just did. They're going to work the sidelines with their 2 wide receivers and try to move the ball into field goal position because they know that they have a long-range kicker in Novo Bojovic. In fact, in the initial contest last season against these Birmingham Stallions, you'll remember that he had 2 49-yard field goals.
3 field goals for the game, and they won it 9-7. His career longest is the 49-yarder. Let me remind you that coming up next Saturday, we have a full lineup for you. ABC's Wide World of Sports. There's your time remaining in the first half. Birmingham leads it 14-7. Michigan with the football. Broughton and Derek Holloway are the wide receivers. Lacey and Williams are the setbacks. Not much pressure this time on Hebert. He throws it again. It's complete to Walter Broughton. He'll be short of the first down, but it does stop the clock at 26 seconds as he gets out of bounds. Bobby Hebert is shaken up. That would be a devastating blow to the Panthers. Let's hope he's not seriously hurt.
He appears to be holding his left knee.
Bobby Hebert, the most valuable player in the championship game against Philadelphia and Denver last year.
He is 4 of 6 in the passing department right now for 95 yards. Was the USFL's MVP in 1983.
He is one of the premier USFL developed stars. Now he wants more. You know, he's out of Northwestern Louisiana State, where he played for A.L. Williams. A.L. Williams also coached Terry Bradshaw and Joe Ferguson. He was voted USFL Player of the Year by Sporting News as you look at Whit Taylor come into the ball game. Bobby Hebert in college played with Victor Otis, who went on to play with the Colts, Mark Duper, who went on to play with the Dolphins, and the late Joe Delaney, who played for the Chiefs before his tragic death. Ironically, Bobby Hebert didn't become a quarterback until his senior year in high school. He's up and puts some pressure on the leg now. Took a pretty good shot. We hope he's all right. He is putting pressure on the leg. He is a tough athlete, and he's good size. 6'4", 220 pounds. Whit Taylor comes into the ball game now. Whit is out of Vanderbilt.
I like Whit Taylor. I saw him in a reserve role at times last year, and we saw him come into the ball game earlier this year in a game against Denver. You remember that, when Bobby Hebert was shaken up in that game? And he shows a lot of poise. He kind of rewrote the press guide when he was at Vanderbilt.
You remember Bobby Hebert was a holdout in preseason, so Whit Taylor got a lot of playing time. He is 2 for 4, 21 yards thus far this year. Has not played that much in the regular season. This is Kenny Lacy across the 45, battles his way out to the 47-yard line.
Ken Lacy was not booed that time. The boos were noticeably absent.
No, but he did get up holding his left arm, his left shoulder, and that is, I believe, the shoulder that kept him out a couple of games earlier in the year.
This Michigan team has been playing hurt all season long. Tyrone McGriff missed some ball games earlier in the year. Lacy has missed some action.
He is a tough, hard-nosed football player, though, with a lot of intensity. And even if he is hurt, especially at this point in time where he signed the contract with the National Football League, and he has the fans here booing him a little bit today, you better believe he's going to tough it out and gut it out and not come out of the ball game. He'll stay in. 18 yards, has Lacy, on 7 carries here today.
He will stay in, but to amplify on that injury situation, Tom Dornbrook is out for the season. And who else? Now, of course, now Bobby Hebert is going to be missing some action here. We hope it is not serious. But, well, I'll tell you something else, that Bethea and Corker missed the last game we covered here because of a suspension. Do you remember that?
I do remember that. As you look at Whit Taylor.